review for the game called Receiver by Wolfire Games. I decided to give this game a little bit of publicity because it seems really unpopular despite it being clever in my opinion. Firstly, this game costs a very pithy $5. More importantly, this game features the most detailed and realistic gun handling dynamics that I've ever seen in a video game. And I feel like my opinion on that is actually valid because I've operated real firearms before, including a 1911 and a revolver very similar to the one in Receiver. For instance, let me back the video up and show you some things that you might have missed. At the start of every life, you're given a random inventory. The only thing predetermined about your inventory is you start out with a gun, and if you start out with a semi-automatic pistol, then you'll be given at least one magazine. Even the state of all the switches on the gun are randomized. Here you can see that I'm checking my gun. I'm checking the chamber to see if there's a bullet in it. I just cocked the hammer. I took the magazine out to see how many bullets are in the magazine, and I put a bullet inside of the magazine. You're given full responsibility of making sure that your magazines are filled and that your gun is chambered and cocked, and that the safety is off. If the idea of a game where you're given full control of every little detail of your gun sounds appealing to you, then you would probably want to check this game out. Another thing I found very appealing about this game is that a lot of things are randomized. Like I said earlier, your inventory is randomized, and also the levels are randomized. There's a set of prefabricated rooms which are linked together in a random fashion and also have a bunch of variables within them that are randomized. For instance, whether or not there's enemies in them, where the enemies are put, whether or not there's items in them, whether or not certain walls exist or not. This means that every time you play the game it's a little bit different, or maybe sometimes a lot different. Another thing given a lot of attention is part-specific damage on the enemies. What part of the enemy robots you hit will determine what parts of the enemy will be disabled. To my knowledge, this includes the motor, the weapon, the camera, and the power supply. That, coupled with the fact that bullets are usually very scant, it inclines you to make careful choices and aim carefully with your gun. For me, this was a nice change from the usual game that babysits all the gun handling dynamics for you, and even causes all the magazines inside of your infinite pockets to magically fill themselves. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just that there's not enough games like Receiver, and there's plenty of games like what I just described. Another nice little dynamic about this game is the attention put into ballistics. Given the right circumstances, a bullet will ricochet, and after it does, the fired bullet will bounce around accordingly. A unique feature about the game is that if you die, the game completely resets. That means that you're given a new inventory and a new level. This gives the game a nice sense of mortality, and causes you to make choices in a more human manner, and gives a very tangible punishment for recklessness and stupidity. The absolute goal of this game is to collect all 11 tapes, which are put in random locations. The tapes reveal part of the storyline of the game, bit by bit. In my opinion, the story is pretty interesting. It reminds me a lot of the beauty that was put into the storyline of the Matrix movie trilogy, and it even gives a subtle tap to the fourth wall, and makes you consider whether or not you're actually part of the game's universe. If you're a Steam user, this game is currently on Steam Greenlight, so if you're interested in the game, then I recommend going to the page and upvoting it. I think I covered all my points. This game is only $5, and I'll provide links in the description for how to buy it and how to upvote it for Steam Greenlight. Enjoy watching the rest of this play until I die.
In reality A, they are asleep, their minds unconcerned and roaming free. But humans have the unrealized potential to exist fully in both realities. It is this reason why humans are threatened. If even one of them achieved an awakened state, they would see beyond the horizon of all known understanding.